here we go. Welcome back to episode 25 with your host, Brantt Myhres, and the sober recovery podcast called UnHammered. How many of you lovely folks stayed not loaded, which means unhammered, I guess, the last week or month or whatever it may be? All of you that we've been building a little bit of a community here, which is so cool to myself. And what are we, week 25, which is awesome. And speaking of that, walking, running, skipping, jumping, hiking, Coke, Pepsi. D, doesn't matter, man. If you've made her a day, month, year, week, right on. You're the miracle. So why don't we take a little sip to that? Congrats, everybody. Oh boy, sorry. I made her a little fucking turbo diesel this morning, but that's fine. I'll take a coffee over other stuff that I used to do. But anyways, everyone. Hey, so as I sip the coffee, my tooth is fine, and it was a nightmare what happened to me. So this is last week. It would have been Friday. I was dropping Kaner off at his grandparents, Rick and Charlene Jenkins. Shout out to you, two beautiful humans, taking care of my boy. But anyways, so I drop him off, and it's 7:00 at night. And I'm like, oh shit, because I was scheduled to go in for surgery. This other dentist told me that I needed to pull it, to yank it. And I've been having issues with this thing for a while. So anyways, it starts to bother me. And I'm like, oh no, I'm like, something's not right here. So anyways, I leave, and from 7:30 at night on a Friday, it was a long weekend, it was really pounding and it was really bothering me. And I laid in bed at 10:00 hoping that it would go away, and it didn't. It just didn't. It was getting sort of like worse. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I go, well, if I can make it through the night, what I'll do is I'll head over to emergency in the morning. So I wake up at 7:00 and I Google emergency dentist, and I call, and they say, hey Brantt, sorry about what's going on, but can you come in at 3:30? I said, sure. They go, wait, are you having any pain? I go, yeah, man, I've been struggling since 7:00. Like, fuck. They go, can you come in at 11? I said, yes. So anyways, I go in, I sit down, and the doctor comes in. He goes, so what are we doing here? I said, just get it out. I go, yank this fucking thing. It's been bothering me for months. He goes, whoa. He goes like, let's take an x-ray here, buddy. So he takes an x-ray. He comes back. He goes, who diagnosed you? And I won't mention the gentleman's name. So-and-so. He goes, Brantt. He goes, take a look at your x-ray. He goes, you see that 20-year-old filling that you have? He said, and you see your nerve? He said, they're touching. And then he said, you see, you've had an infected tooth for months. He goes, all that black bacteria, you see that? He goes, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove that filling. And he goes, and we're going to clean up the bacteria. We're going to do a root canal on you today, Brantt. And I'm like, okay. So anyways, I'm in the chair for over 2 hours, I think it was. And he did a root canal. And what do you know? What do you know, man? I'm feeling better. Wow. So thank you. I forget the guy's name. I'll mention it next time if anybody's in Edmonton and they want to get their teeth looked at. This guy's awesome, man. What do we have? Oh, hey guys. So why don't we say congrats to Shannon? He's been messaging me since I think day 4, right? Or day 5 or something like that. And Shannon got 30 days sober. So congrats to you, buddy. Hopefully you can go to a local recovery meeting and pick up that 30-day coin, because that to me is, those are big, man. Those first months are big. So congrats, Shannon, on that. What else we got? Oh yeah, you guys do anything nice for anybody? You guys do anything nice for anybody but yourself? Not that doing stuff for yourself isn't, required. That's nice. We all want to do that, right? But did you get out of yourself for somebody else? And I did. I messaged back to all those people that wrote in and ask questions and etc. Took time out of my day to do that. And then what else? I didn't really like go out of my way, I guess, for anybody else other than Kane. I've sort of been locked in with the little guy here for a while, actually. And so I guess, taking him ice skating, and I took him skating, and he's getting a real knack for it. The first time I took him last week, I guess, he couldn't stand up. And so next day he's like, "Daddy, I want to go back. I want to go back." How do you say no, right? So I take him back, and what do you know? He's standing up on his own 2 feet. He's walking like a duck, like I told him to, and he loves it. So yeah, I just took care of him. Been a long week when you're up early with the guy and getting him ready and lunches and all that kind of stuff. And that might be a segue into the next question. Hey, Brantt, put the glasses on here. Actually, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. We need to do a prayer for the day. So I apologize to everyone because I like doing it. Okay, we're going to do a meditation too. God's miracle working power is a manifest today, and it was in the past. It still works miracles of change in lives and miracles of healing in twisted minds. When a person trusts wholly in God and leaves to Him the choosing of the day and hour, there is God's miracle working power becoming manifest in that person's life. Period. So we can trust in God and have a boundless faith in His power to make us whole again whenever He chooses. So that to me sounds like patience, doesn't it? It sounds like patience. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may feel sure that there is nothing that God cannot accomplish in changing my life. I pray that I may have faith in His miracle working power. Well, yeah, I mean, if you guys believe that everyday clean is a miracle, which I do, coming from the place that I came from, and you believe today's a miracle, that you're sober and that you stayed sober, then you'll really relate to that prayer and a bit of the meditation. I like that. Okay. So this is the segue. Hey, Brantt, how challenging has it been being a full-time parent to Kane? I'm trying to use my words correctly here because I don't know if challenge is actually a good word. Challenge is a good word. But I find that when it comes to him, Peanuts, obviously she's at a stage in her life where she's almost an adult, but Kaner is a baby, right? Kaner's a baby. So when it comes to taking care of Kane full time, I don't necessarily look at it as anything other than when I look at him, I think about me. I think about Brantt when I was young, and there was some stuff going on within the home, and I was fortunate enough to have somebody take me in and love me and take care of me. Now that was my grandparents, so this is my blood, right? And so when it comes to him, I don't know. I've just this connection with him and this bond that I have with him. I've never really had anybody idolize me. I haven't. And with him, he pays interest to his father and what his father's doing. You guys seen him sit here and say that he was the host of UnHammered and episode whatever. He's 3 years old, man. He goes to my book and he kisses it, rubs my face at night, gives me a hug. If I cough, he asks me if I'm okay. Like, are you kidding me right now? So no, yeah, it's challenging. Sure. I've been single, doing this all alone. I did it with Peanut too, pretty much all alone. And I'm doing it again with Kane. And I'm not batting an eye with it because when you love something more than you love yourself, it's actually it's a joy in a way. It's a joy in a way. and don't get me wrong, I'm going to go through my moments with that, but they're not here today. And that's the thing, everybody. We got to try and stay in the moment. We got to try and stay in today. Because if we don't, and you have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, you're pissing on today. And that's, how I live my life. I wasn't in the present, and I'm in the present today. And as of today, yes, it's been challenging, but it's been rewarding. It's been very rewarding. And the little guy's got my heart, man. This is sort of an interesting question. Hey, Brantt, can you talk about overcoming fear of the unknown? Yeah. As of what, in an hour from now? back to the present. But the reality is that fear is real and the unknown is real, And for me, the fear is that I couldn't see, when I was using, the fear was multiplied by 1,000 because I couldn't see a way out, right? And for so many years, I was just, treading on water, and the fear was, what's going to be tomorrow. It was mostly mental. It was I was fucking broke financially, and I blew everything, and I fucking, wasted a career pretty much, but it was sitting there having a smile on, but dying inside. Have you guys had that? Have you had that where you're around people and you're laughing or you're smiling, but inside you're like, man, I just don't feel good about myself. So we talk about embracing the uncertainty of the journey. You got to embrace the uncertainty of the journey, because if you were to tell me that, in November of 2024, that, I would have everything in my life that would have happened, and it would have led me to, starting a podcast, writing a book, and then starting a podcast and talking about something that I was hoping that could affect others, and in a good way, in a positive way. And I would have probably said that you're crazy. I didn't think that, I was going to make it past 35 years old the way that I was going. I just didn't. So embrace it, man, and embrace the fear of the uncertainty, because that's where the good stuff is. It's especially if you're writing a journal, you get to look back at stuff, and go, man, oh man, like, look at a year ago, the way that I was feeling, and the insanity that I was going through, whether it was a relationship or trying to get on track with any addiction that you were dealing with, and it's called progress. It's called progress. So embrace it, man. Embrace the journey, because that's what we have. And we're lucky to have that. We're lucky to have that. Excuse me. Remember we were talking about writing a paragraph to yourself, your younger self, your 10-year-old self. What would you say to that little guy? Well, I started one, and I guess we'll see how far we get. So, letter to Brantt. Hey, little man, I know you can't make sense of what's going on right now. And that's okay. And it's going to be okay. None of the things that have already happened to you were your fault. You're going to turn into a strong man one day, and the calm waters will turn into a hectic storm. You'll need to have faith that you'll make it through, even when it seems like your boat is sinking. And that, son, is called faith. You're going one day to look back on all the storms and understand these were needed for your higher calling, and that will be to help others. There's going to be a thing called addiction knocking at your door. But there's no need to worry, young man. God will have your back on that one. And that's as far as I got so far. So I can work on it. But there's the first paragraph I'd say to a 10-year-old Brantt. Yeah. That's powerful stuff, isn't it? Man, oh man. You just want to give yourself a little guy a hug. And yeah, anyways. So do you guys know how to recognize when somebody's struggling? Anybody in your circle, family, friends, how can you tell if somebody's struggling? You know, in today's society, in the world today with Instagram and social media and all this stuff where like, you know, everybody's life looks happy, you know, and probably including mine, but most of my pictures, if you go look at my Instagram or with my son, I mean, other than me posting about this, you know, podcasts that I run, but that's expected. But most of the pictures are with my son. You know, took some with Sheldon and some friends golfing and that kind of stuff, you know, and I was happy. I wasn't faking that. But there's a lot of society that is faking. And, you know, again, they go back to the smile and they're dying right inside. And how can you recognize now? It's tough, right? Because of social media. You think they're doing great, you know, but maybe it's this. It's if you've got a friend or a loved one, and you know, when you say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, you know, I'm good. Oh, no, bro. Like seriously, man, how you doing?" And just pause. And then he's going to go, "Oh, no, I'm fine. You know, is there anything that you'd like to talk to me about? You know, anything at all? I'm not going to judge. I want to check in, man. I want to see how you're doing." And usually all it takes is that second question of no, like really, how are you? And that might be the breakthrough that you need. Especially telling them that you're not going to judge. You just, you know, you really care about them and you want to see how they're doing. You know, and usually when people go mute, they're fucking not doing well. They're not. I've dealt with it. And you hide out, you know. So when people hit the mute button, give them a call. Okay. How about the importance of celebrating small wins for your mental well-being? And I'd look at Shannon's win for 30 days, and I wouldn't consider that small. I'd consider that big. But when he was writing in or messaging me daily, those are considered, you know, they're small victories, man. And what do you guys consider small wins? Is it just, you know, is it being able to get on your knees, being able to do a few things during the day that make you feel good, you know, good orderly direction, right? And for me, small wins would be, you know, sometimes you just don't, I don't know if you guys feel this. Do you feel that it's hard some mornings to get out of bed when your eyes open and you're like, oh, fuck, man, I got another fucking day coming? I do. Okay, well, what have you learned? Well, you've learned to, okay, get out of bed, get on your knees and get grateful. Yeah, you know that, right, Brantt? So do that, okay? Get on your knees, get grateful. Start focusing on some things that you have in your life that you're grateful for. Bang. My attitude changes right away. Boom. As soon as I focus on gratitude, everything shifts. You know, and especially after watching the Superman documentary, the movie, The Man of Steel, Mr. Reeves. And Mr. Reeves was, in everybody else's mind, invincible. And he found himself paralyzed from the neck down. Superman was in a wheelchair. And I watched that movie 2 days ago. And it really hit me hard, man. It hit me hard for the gratitude of God. Thank you for my feet. Thank you for my legs. Thank you for all my extremities that are working today, you know? And it's natural. We take it for granted, but we shouldn't. And, you know, when you watch something like that, when his kids were young and He never walked again. And, he lived in I guess it would be a mental torture chamber inside up here. And it goes on every day, and especially as we get older, me, now I'm north of 50. I'm not, I'm north of it. And this is when shit starts to fucking break down, whatever it may be. And so you got to, if you can, please get into gratitude for what you have, not for what you don't have. Thank you. Okay, guys. You guys ready? Kaboom. The big book. And we are on my favorite chapter. We're on how it works. They want you to know how it works, don't they? I'm like, I know how it works. I've outsmarted this thing. They're like, yeah, just wait. Just wait a little longer. You're only 24. It's coming. Okay, here we go. Page 62. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves. Of the alcoholic and drug addict is an extreme example of self-will run riot. Though he usually doesn't think so, period. Above everything, we alcoholics and drug addicts must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us, ! Jesus. God makes that possible. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. We just talked about it, right? Getting on the knees and praying for that you're grateful. Sorry, I'll keep going. Many of us had moral and philosophical, grade 9, convictions galore, but we could not live up to them, even though we would have liked to. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own willpower. We had to have God's help, period. This is how and why of it. First of all, we had to quit playing God. Okay, it didn't work. Quite, of course. Next, we decided there hereafter in his drama of life, God was going to be our director. He is the principal. We are his agents. He is the father, and we are his children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone of the new and triumphant arch, though which we passed to freedom. Okay, we only have a paragraph left. Isn't that cool? God's the director. This, we need structure, and he directs us. He's got some structure if we're willing. Okay, one last paragraph. When we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. Whoa, they're talking about good stuff following when you give in, when you surrender. Sorry, I'll keep going. We had a new employer, being all-powerful. He provided what we needed if we kept him close and performed his work well. Established on such a footing, we became less and less interested in ourselves, our little plans and designs. More and more, we became interested in seeing what we could contribute to life. As we felt new power flow in, as we enjoyed peace of mind, and we discovered we could face life successfully, as we became conscious of his presence, we began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, or thereafter. We were reborn. Man, I just we just talked about that, right? 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future. Talks about being reborn. Have I been reborn? I'm sorry. Have I been reborn? Oh, yeah. I mean, I was sort of hopeless. So hopeless alcoholic and drug addict. And as I sit here today, recording for you beautiful people, the people that want to get better and want to understand, I have been reborn. I've been going through a lot of phases, shedding the skin, but I've been reborn, haven't been cured. Let's get that straight. But I've been reborn, and I've had a reprieve this morning so far. I haven't had to call a drug dealer or go to the liquor store, So yeah, I think I've been a little bit reborn. What else we got here, folks? Okay, so somebody asked a question here about oh boy, oh gosh, excusez-moi. Hey Brantt, can you talk about taking rehab seriously and not taking it seriously? So this, probably read the book, and that would have been my first treatment center. Yeah, I can talk about when you when you don't take rehab seriously after spending 90 days in treatment. I didn't take it seriously, and I ended up buying a bag of blow the day that I got out. I was like, I'll show you guys. Yeah, I got a long drive back to Edmonton, Alberta from Los Angeles. That's like 4 days. So I don't know. I probably need at least 3 grams to get home. And what do you know? As I'm driving back to Edmonton, I get a call from my agent. And my agent, Rich Winter, says to me, "Hey, Brantt, congratulations. The San Jose Sharks just offered you a 2-year deal for like $1.2 million. And I said, "No way." He says, yeah. He goes, "But you got to come in the office tomorrow and sign the paperwork so we can get this thing done." I said, "Great." So now I'm doing more coke actually on the way home because I'm pretty pumped. I just got offered a new contract. And so I get into Edmonton, I go to Rich's office, and I go up there, and he goes, "Congratulations, Brantt, on getting a contract from San Jose." He says, "But I just want to tell you something." I go, "What's that?" He goes, "The urine tester is going to be here in 20 minutes. And I went, "What?" I knew that I was screwed, that I couldn't pass that test. And my career was on the line on this one. So anyways, I get up, and I heard that if you put Visine over your finger and you piss over it, that it dilutes the urine enough. So I went down, got some Visine, came back up. The urine tester told me to pull my pants down and pull my hands above my head. I said, "Oh boy, here we go. No Visine. I'm done." Pissed in the cup. And sure enough, 2 days later, 3 days later, maybe 4 days later, I get a call. And they go, "Hey, you got to fly to LA for breakfast." What? That's a long way to go for breakfast. Going to the Ritz-Carlton for some eggs. Well, little did I know when I got there, the hammer came down. And somehow, some way, they gave me one more chance on that one. I begged them, and they gave me one more chance. And that lasted about 1 month. And then I got in a bar fight, and I went right back to that rehab for stage two. And so yeah, that's what happens when you don't take rehab seriously. You end up buying drugs the day that you get out. Not a very good look, or not spending the NHL's money very wisely. And man, oh man, I'm so glad that they had patience with me through that whole thing, because it was pretty scary to go through it. And yeah, what else? Okay, guys, why don't we read something on our exit? And it's on page 86, and we talk about the last one we talked about was at night. Okay, so this one is in the morning. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on much higher of a plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here, we ask God for inspiration and intuitive thought or decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We often are surprised how the right answers will come after we have tried this for a while. What used to be a hunch or the occasional inspirational gradually becomes a working part of the mind. being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, excuse me, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. I agree with that. It's being human. We pray for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, at time, pass and be more and more on the plane of an inspiration. We come to rely upon it. That was great. I like that one because, when you retire at night, you say all this stuff and then you go into, you sleep, right? And this one sort of sets your day up. So anyways, everybody, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was my pleasure to come down here and talk to you about maybe some experience, some strength and some hope that can get you guys through the next week UnHammered. So let's try and stay accountable, keep each other UnHammered for another 7 days. Okay, you guys take care. Thanks.